ex-wife is pregnant and reached out to me to tell me the other guy is abusing her. Advice. Edit. Guys, I have no intention of getting back together with her, taking her back, or even wanting to help her. I sent her links to the rescue, tries to contact her family, and they told me to cut her off. The only reason I want to help her is because she reached out to me as the last resort, and I don't want to spend my life in regret if anything serious happens to her, knowing I could have helped but chose not to. Which is why I made this post. I'm gonna send her money via her friend before telling her this is all I can do and she shouldn't reach out to me unless it's urgent. I'm looking for helpful advices without judgment, so please hear me out. This is a long post, so I apologize. TLDR is at bottom. Me 31 male and my ex-wife 29 female were married for 7 years, together for 9 before she cheated and left me for the other guy. Our divorce got finalized in March this year. The other guy is a playboy jerk who's probably 24-ish. It began from the end of last year, and in January of the current year, she tells me she wants a divorce. I found out they've been talking for an entire year before it turned physical last year, October. Divorce was smoothish as we didn't have any kids. She got the car. I kept my house and finances. After this, I was out of her life. She was out of mine. We never contacted each other except for 1 or 2 times. That too was when we saw each other when public. Her family is very conservative and they basically cut her off after she cheated and divorced. She moved in with the other guy. During this time, I found out she also lost a lot of friends as the other guy tried to hit on them or insulted them. Her ex sets of friends tried to get me involved in their fights, immature AF. But I included this part because these set of friends were the one to stand behind her after she had an affair, telling me she found herself and I should probably let her go. I don't harbor any resentment towards her or the other guy. I didn't get involved with anyone during this period because I was focused on my job and earning back my money, which I lost on divorce. Here's where I need help. 2 days back, I get a call from one of my ex-wife's friends who told me my ex-wife wanted my number. I changed it after divorce. She didn't say much when I asked her why, and told me she needed to talk. I thought it was important as, mind you, we never had any contact, so suddenly her wanting to talk to me created a sense of seriousness, for which I tell her to give my number. Yesterday my ex-wife called. She sounded very creepy. She didn't have the voice she used to, but it was broken. You could sense something was wrong. So I asked her what's up and she broke down crying. Went on from telling how great things were to how are things now. So the other guy is a manipulative and alcoholic boss who cheated on her multiple times in their 7 months relationship. Put her in charge of finances, which meant her getting a job, and she's pregnant. Now he doesn't want to be the father, so he's telling her she cheated and he's abusing her. She has no place to go and he wants an abortion if she wants to be together. I asked her why did she call me instead of police. She told me she has nowhere else to go. None of her friends are willing to help her out, and that boss got friends in the department, so she's scared if things go around. She can't contact her family because they don't want anything to do with her, so she's alone. Listening to her made me sad. It really did. I told her I can sympathize but can't do anything else because I don't want to be the third party. I told her whatever relationship we had with each other is over and she's on her own now. Why should I stand up for her when she's no one to me? Besides, they're a couple now. They're dating, and she's the one earning. She has the upper hand. I gave her advices to save funds and run away silently if she doesn't want an abortion. It was a 17 minutes call and she basically wanted to talk more, but I told her I was busy and cut her off. She did mention she was sorry to treat me and leave me. I honestly don't care about that. I told her to contact me only when it's necessary because I really don't want to hear from her no more. Yesterday night I gave a deep thinking to it and felt I should do something because no one deserves this kind of abuses. But I don't want to get in between because getting in between will blow up my own peace. I'm looking for advices if I can do anything to help her out. I called her family and they told me they want nothing to do with her because she is already dead to them. I cannot forgive my wife for her one-night stand. Wife and I have been with one another for 12 years. 2 kids. I'm 33 and my wife is 32. Kids are 5 and 3. Solid marriage throughout with a few bumps here and there, but nothing too severe. In January my wife went on a weekend trip with some girlfriends of hers. Ends up getting drunk and sleeping with another guy. Doesn't tell me. I find out a couple weeks later when I see a message on her phone. She ends up confessing after I confront her. Swears it's the first and only time it's happened and nothing like it will ever happen again. Furious, does not even begin to touch on how I feel. We have a terrible fight and I decided to move out. It felt like the best choice. I hated my wife at the time and I didn't want to do something too hurtful. Seeing her every day would have been too hard. I don't know what her ons did to me, but it changed me. I stopped really caring about being a good husband and probably a woman, good father, and just became more selfish. I was a really good husband to her and I didn't deserve to be cheated on. I moved out and started to act single. I had 2 one-night stands of my own between February and April and started to date another. In May my wife and I finally talk and she convinces me to at least start coming by our home more often, since the kids were missing me. Once I started to going back to spending more time with my kids, my wife and I started to reconnect with one another. My wife and I basically started dating again, and we are doing better. I agreed to move back in last week, and I broke up with my girlfriend. The problem for me is I cannot forgive my wife. I still have love for her, but I just think of her as a whore. I can only imagine some drunk guy railing my wife. Having sex with my wife is not fun. I can't stand to see her face when we are intimate. I feel bad when we argue because I've said some mean things to her. I wish I could move on, but I haven't been able to. I still want to be married to my wife, I guess. It's better than the alternative of divorce and the related expenses. But I'm not in any way loyal or in love with my wife. I don't know why I can't forgive her or move on. She is sorry and hasn't done anything like that since. She says it was one mistake and she will never do anything like it again. Edit. I do want to stay married, and I'm more asking this for help in forgiving her. I want to try to forgive my wife and fix our marriage. Obviously, people are free to post whatever advice they want, and I appreciate all the advice, but I would prefer advice that is more detailed than just leave her or divorce. There are 2 little boys who I have to think of as well. I can't be super selfish and just leave it there. Expense. EDIT2. Thought I should add some more details and information. I'm almost in the uncomfortable position of defending my wife with some of the comments. I didn't think it was possible to be angrier than me, but I guess it is. We had been arguing a lot for the month or 2 before her ons about expenses and a health issue of my younger sons. There was a lot of stress and drama over that. My wife says this was a reason she had her ons, along with her being overly drunk and the other guy being persistent. My wife didn't get his number, and they never had an affair or anything like that. When I confronted her, my wife didn't deny it and admitted it. Since then, she has been a really good wife, by any stretch. I was horrible to her after the ons. I yelled at her, called her a whore, slut, cunt, divided by etc. I went through a terrible phase, and that is why I moved out. Because I was scared I was going to hurt her. When I was moved out, I told her I was going to be single, and I essentially shoved the new relationships in her face. It was petty. I did it for revenge. I don't think it was cheating, and my wife doesn't count it as cheating. I didn't even talk to her kindly for almost 3 months. My wife did not date anyone or see anyone during our separation. I am 98% sure this was her first and only affair. Obviously, I can't be certain, but it is so unlike her. She has been sorry and remorseful since it came out. I wouldn't have moved back in if she wasn't. It's not that I hate to see her face. That is only when we are having sex. I do have love for my wife, and I care about her a lot still. We are actually pretty good and happy most of the time. Our home is not like a war zone, and our boys have been so happy that I've moved back in. I want to do what is best for them, and I think my wife and I staying together is best for them. I think and I hope and I pray that my love for my wife can return. I posted this hoping someone could help me in forgiving my wife and help me fall back in love with her. I really don't want to go. I want to repair our marriage and keep our family together. I know I'm not perfect, and I have some blame in this. And I know I've become an uglier person because of her affair with my selfishness and anger, and I want to get beyond that.